Welcome back, baseball fans, to the elimination videos. The final one for the 77-80 Fall League. The best one, the team that wins the World Series. Their exit interview. Eliminating the Baltimore Orioles. Season is over. Modest winning record, 28-19. Wins everything. 9 games over 500. One of the most conservative records. They were number 6 seed wild card, but you knew the record is deceiving because they battled the Red Sox and Yankees all year long. They took out the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, number 3 seed in the American League in the playoffs, and the number 3 seed in the National League, the Cincinnati Reds. Congratulations to the Orioles. First, just to mention, about a year ago, they were 15-14, just missing out on the playoffs to the Yankees and the Red Sox. To Cincinnati at 294, 827 RBI. Singleton at 357, 6-18. Bobby Grich at 263 and would not come back. He would go from the Orioles to the Angels. Jim Palmer was a disappointing 2-5 with a 3.90 ERA. Flanagan had a good ERA, 3-2, 2.16. Yet, believe it or not, folks, the Orioles had a Cy Young winner last year, and it was Dennis Martinez. 6-0 with a 1.64 ERA was a Cy Young. They had this expression in Baltimore when Steve Stone won 25 games in 1980. Palmer was Cy Old, Flanagan was Cy Young, Stone was Cy Present, and Scott McGregor was Cy Future. Now, Scott McGregor did not win a Cy Young, but he was very good. And Dennis Martinez got a Cy Young with a 78 card a year ago. As you know, he was the best pitcher, and oddly enough, the no Orioles got a Cy Young this year. It was Mike Caldwell for the Brewers had the best year, along with Mike Norris of the Ohio team. But let's just go through this. This Oriole team is very bizarre. The team average is 240, and that is not a misprint. They really just hit 240 and won the World Series. If I came in after seeing what they did last year, and if I said, okay, this year the Yankees are better, Red Sox are better, the Orioles are going to hit 240, Eddie Murray's going to hit 211 with 2 home runs and 18 RBI, their best hitter is going to be Carlos Lopez, and Cy Young winner Dennis Martinez is going to go 4-6 with a 4.41 ERA. That suggests the Orioles finished below Toronto in last place and missed the playoffs altogether. But alas, Carlos Lopez hits 320 for this team somehow. 5 stolen bases. Rich Dower leads the club in hits with 52 and a 268 average. Singleton's batting average underachieved by 50 points. Dower a little bit. Dempsey, Lee May, whatever. DeCinces dropped by 50 points. Lowenstein by 70 points. Even Blair by 30 points. Eddie Murray by almost 100 points. Mark Belanger underachieved on his 211 batting average by hitting 181. That's 30 points, and 30 points counts. Jim Mason had a 187 card and couldn't hit it. Hit 155. My goodness, folks. Okay, but let's just go to the pitching. So, the World Series MVP was Jim Palmer. Well, 2 complete game shutouts, that'll generally do it for you. He won games 1 and 4, out-dueling Tom Seaver. Finishing 9 and 4, 119 innings for Jim Palmer. The next closest pitcher is Dennis Martinez at 81. That is 38 more innings for Jim Palmer than any other Oriole pitcher. A stunning performance. 2.26 ERA, 101 WHIP. Martinez and McGregor, the Cy Futures, as we want to call them, had pretty dismal years. Flanagan stepped up, 6-1, 228, 104. The bullpen was great everywhere, though. Tippy Martinez really stepped up in the postseason, saved everything. 6 saves, 4 of the 6 were in the playoffs, as they did a committee approach. And in a statistical strangeness, Don Stanhouse led the club in 2 categories. Best ERA at 1.69 And worst whip at 1.69. That is not a misprint, folks. Not too many pitchers with a 1.69 ERA are going to put 1.69 men on in 9 innings. Strange, bizarre stats for the world champs who were just battle-tested by the Yankees and the Red Sox, and by the time they got to the playoffs, the rest of the playoff field was kind of ordinary. Let's take a look now at the Orioles stack here, and we'll see which 77 cards go away. You know, it's pretty remarkable that the team beat the Cincinnati Reds 8 out of 9 times in World Series played in a timeline 8 years apart from each other. The first World Series win, the timeline ended in 1971, and this timeline, of course, ends in 1980. So I call them different eras. Jim Palmer and Johnny Bench were on their respective teams the whole time. Even Pete Rose was not on this team, so I can't think of, and Tony Perez wasn't either, so I can't think of any other. For the Orioles, there's no Brooks Robinson. Oh, Paul Blair. So Paul Blair got 2 rings in this sample size here. So these should be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 8 Oriole guys from 77. And I can identify 1, 2, 3. Probably 3 keepers here, and then we'll see what happens after that. Here are your the 12 guys coming back next year. It's like 7 and 5. Yeah, 7 hitters. You got Dempsey. May can be your DH. May, Dempsey. Murray's at first. Dowers at second. Cincinnati at third. Blanchard short. Well, that starts out well. DH catcher, first, second, third, short, and a left fielder. Not too bad offensively. You got players everywhere. You need a center fielder and a right fielder, and platoons. Now the pitching. Bullpen looks pretty in good hands. I remember I talked about Cy Future. Both the Cy Futures are here. It's Martinez 78 card, very good card, and McGregor's 79 card, arguably his best, because of how well he pitches against righties. You'd be glad to make these the number 1 and 2 starter on most teams, but we know, of course, that the Orioles have other pitchers on the to be talked about to fill the 1 and 2 spots. Yeah, and the good part of the bullpen is coming back. You got Stoddard. Look at ready to get lefties out. Big 79 card for that World Series team. And Stanhouse's 78 card with the Orioles, which was better than his 79 card. So, let's see what the Orioles do with the players from 77 and see if they can gear it up for a repeat. Okay, folks, let's check out the 8 cards from 1977. What do the Orioles do with these guys? First guy to come up is Paul Blair. At this point, he is just a superstar defensive player, and his bat is pretty much gone. But Blair got himself a 2nd ring with the Orioles. So the cards that got him the ring, the 69 card, with the 26 homers, was used in the World Series that was played in the year of 2020 in the summer, beating that Cincinnati team. And then his card is up in that league for the 70-73 carryover league, and it's believed that either the 70 or perhaps even the 73 card will be used when he's the keeper in that. So it's pretty cool to do this twice. Turns out he's also a keeper for this current iteration. And here we are in 77. So you see he was a Yankee in 1977 and did get a ring. Isn't that interesting? For the New York Yankees in 77 with Reggie's Yankees. But in this replay of this whole thing, Baltimore holds on for him for 1 more year, and he helps them get a World Series ring. Now, in 78, and 79, and 80, look, he's on the Cincinnati Reds, the team he beat. Look at that. I'm pretty sure he does qualify for waivers in 78 for somebody looking for somebody specifically for defense only. Let's check him out here, New York. Blair. Yeah, so he qualifies for waivers. So the Orioles would do that instead of retiring him. Congratulations, Paul Blair. Next player, Andy Etchebarren. He was the starting catcher at the beginning of the year. And then they just said, let's just give Dempsey the full-time job. He can hit enough. And Etchebarren basically sat on the bench for the second half. Etchebarren and Rick Dempsey were never teammates either, as Etchebarren's career was over in 78. So, yeah, in 78 he only has 5 plate appearances, so you have to retire him. So, congratulations, Andy Etchebarren. Another. I don't think he was on the 60 that Oriole. The other Oriole team. I think he had been traded out. He left to go to the Angels, and then he came back. That's how I played it out, something like that. So he's retired. Okay. Next up, we got the great Carlos Lopez. You recall that last year we were giving John Tamargo a lifetime supply of beer in Boston for being a World Series hero and giving the Red Sox breaking the curse of the Bambino. It was actually John Tamargo in 1976, 7, 8, 9. The Orioles have this guy, Carlos Lopez, in half a year, in really one good year. And it was the year he played for Seattle at age 28. That's a nice card you saw. 283, 750 OPS, had some speed. And the Orioles, they actually acquired him a year later, and he disappointed. But it was the Seattle Carlos Lopez card we had getting to the Orioles a year sooner, and it helped them win the World Series. So, do you reward Lopez by bringing him back? No, you don't do that. But you do let him go on waivers, as he qualifies, I believe. Should be an Oriole outfielder in 78. Must be an extra player then. Yes, he's an extra player. So, the Orioles will put him on waivers as well. All right, next guy. Jim Mason. Known to swing a bat in the left-hander's batter's box is what he's known to do. Yeah, he's an infielder who bats left-handed, and so that gives him value. Jim Mason played a nice decade of baseball and was primarily under the Mendoza line most of the time. And yeah. But people saw that left-handed bat and said, my God, an infielder who can bat left-handed, we got to have this guy. So he played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. Nice paycheck. Collected a paycheck for a whole decade. Not bad, Jim. And he just got a World Series ring. He was the left-handed hitter off the Oriole bench. So, in 78, he's got a card with the Rangers with a 456 OPS. If I want to put him on waivers, let's go see if it exists. Here's 77 Texas. Mason. Don't think they made his card. You know, Jim, you might really want to think of retiring with that ring on your finger and just call it good. I would. You got a World Series ring. It doesn't get much better than that. I would just retire Jim Mason. There you go. How about that? Jim Mason gets to go home, spend a happy retirement. Congratulations, Jim Mason, getting that World Series ring for the Orioles. All right, next player. Ken Singleton. Oh, yes. Have to get rid of his fabulous 77 card. People thought of him as a steady player. He was steady, but he had some monster years mixed in with a steadiness. Every 4 years, as a matter of fact. I look at 73 with the Expos, a monster year, 904. Then this monster year, 77 with a 328 average. Then in 79, he hits 35 home runs. Beyond that, he always was a steady player as far as a switch hitter who got on base with walks, had power both ways. A lot of walks. 79 card will be the one they keep. 35 homers, 938 OPS. That's nothing to sneeze at. Kenny Singleton coming back to run this thing back for another couple years at least. And they might run him all the way back through, I think, 83? Yes, 83. He's still good. 276, 829. 84 is not. But he'll run. They'll go 79, and then when the 79 card's up, we'll give him the 4-year bump to 83. He'll finish his career with the Orioles. All right, time to get into the pitching of 3 guys here. All right, and in the no-brainer category, James Alvin Palmer. Here he is. Wow, born in New York, went to Scottsdale, Arizona High School. Didn't know that. Arizona State. How about that? Pitched the 1966 World Series, folks. My goodness. So, again, and pretty much like Tom Seaver, you can just move him from the first edition Strat-O-Matic set from 66. He's 20 years old through his 200 innings. And then bump him to 69, and then maybe 73, and then a 77 is a little bit better than 76 and 75. Those ERAs up a little bit. And then the good part about this is, regardless of what happens in these middle years, boom, 1982 has a comeback year with the Orioles, leads the American League in WHIP at .113 in 82. That card's not available yet. So the play for the Orioles is to take the 78 card for the 1 year that you'll have it next year, and then bump the 78 card to the 82 years. That's 5 more years of Jim Palmer in Baltimore. Doesn't go on beyond that, though. 70, 83, and 84, not so much. But Jim Palmer will be in Baltimore another 5 years. All right, next guy up, Mike Flanagan. Congratulations, Flanny. Got himself a ring in 83 for the Orioles. In real life, whatever real life is, in traditional Major League Baseball, I guess. 78, he's an all-star. In 79, he is the American League Cy Young Award winner. This is called no-brainer territory. .118 whip in his Cy Young year. Yeah, you gotta do that. Mike Flanagan, his Cy Young year is coming up. Congratulations, Mike Flanagan. Jim Palmer, Mike Flanagan. And we have one more card to do. We only have 3 keepers, 2 waves, and 2 retires. The last guy is not going to be a keeper either, I don't think. It's Clay Carroll. Jeez. Adding insult to injury for the Cincinnati Reds. Clay Carroll signed with the Orioles in the offseason to defeat the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series. And it was the bizarre... This gives me the opportunity to show you the splits of this bizarre Clay Carroll card. So I'll go through it. His Strat-O-Matic card for 1977 shows him 4-2 in 90 innings. Now it's on different teams. So let's take a look at that. Here it is. But look, they took the cards completely off of St. Louis, the St. Louis splits in 90 innings. Okay? And the whip is a .112. Okay? So that's the stats they generated the card with. They discarded these 11 innings with the White Sox, where everything was a little bit worse. So, his Strat card, just put my eyeballs on it. It looks like lefties hit close to 400 off of it. And he doesn't have a hit. The right-handers are hitting below 200. I mean, it's that drastically different between left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters. So when I first saw this card, I said, I got to go over to Baseball Reference and check out Clay Carroll's splits of 77. So let's do that. And 77 splits for Clay Carroll. Here we go. All right. Now, they have those 11 innings tossed in there. I really don't... I can't imagine those 11 innings would pitch the or distort the information so drastically between lefties and righties. But let's take a look at the platoon splits. And here it is. Again, it's 101 innings. Right-handed hitters, 245 plate appearances. Left-handed, 161. Looking at his card, it's 60%, 40%. Looking at these numbers, that's 60 and 40, so it's dead on. So my Strat-O-Matic card that we've been playing and looking at, the batting average should be under 200. And for lefties, it should be around 400. The batting average versus right-handed batters is 253. And the batting average versus left-handed batters shows 238. Makes no sense whatsoever. Unless you see something in here I'm not seeing, folks, let me know. I would love your input. So again, platoon splits versus right-handed batters, and this is the 1977 total, even though it was for two teams, for Clay Carroll. Right-handers hitting 253 against him, left-handers hitting 238 against him. And I'll take a picture of the card and flash that up here as well, so you can see. I smell a rat here, folks. I don't see any information here. They just have his first and second halves. And even the batting average, May and June he was lights out, and July, August, September not so much. But you don't split a card between months. You split it one way between left-handed batting and right-handed batting. So that's the curious Clay Carroll card, his 78 card, excuse me, a 77 card. Go back to Clay. Where'd he go? Was split between the Cardinals and the White Sox. And again, the Big Red Machine, they let him go after 75. So he got his ring. He got that 75 ring. He didn't get a 76 ring because he was on the Chi Sox. So I could see a little bit of bitterness maybe. He comes back, signs with the Orioles instead, and he gets himself an Oriole World Series ring. 1978, he is finished. He pitches 4 innings for the rival Pirates. How about that? Cincinnati and Pittsburgh rivalry. 4 innings. They tried him out. Didn't work out. All right, so we retire Clay Carroll after all of this. And when we finish up with the Orioles, they have 3 keepers, 2 waivers, 3 retires, which means they have to find a keeper on the off-season trade carousel that all teams do. And I can actually take a quick peek now, because fortunately, the Orioles are alphabetically at the very top of this particular spreadsheet, which totals up the 256 players reviewed for keep, waive, and retire. And just a reminder, because I've said this before, I'll do it again here. When we decide if a guy is a keeper, we give him an amount, a dollar sign, $10,000, 10,000 tokens, 10,000 units. For a guy we decide to be a keeper. We want to keep the guy. When a guy goes on waivers, means his career continues, but not with a team he was presently on, he's then worth $100 or 100 tokens. And then if a guy is retired because he doesn't exist anymore, or he is really, really, really bad, he is worth $1. And you want 4 keepers, 2 waivers, and 2 retires. Baltimore does not have the correct math. Let's see if anybody has it. Oh, this team does, the Yankees. The Yankees have the correct math. The Yankees could just stop and not make any off-season transactions because they're saying it. We want to keep these 4 guys, waive these 2, retire these 2 guys. But everybody can make trades in the off-season. And then when you add up all these numbers, you come up with this numeric up here. And the point of this is this large number that's 1,307,749. You don't think of it as an amount. Imagine drawing a line straight down here after the 130, and then 2 more spaces and drawing another line. And what that expression reads is 130, 77, 49. I'll actually just type those numbers in there. 130, 77, 49. And the league is supposed to have this expression, 128, 64, 64, which is 32 teams having 4 keepers, 2 waivers, and 2 retires. And when you look at the overall math of the league, you see we are +2 in teams wanting a keeper. What does that mean? It means that some teams are not going to have keepers, and 2 players are going to have to move into the waiver list. The waiver list, supposed to be 64, is +13. Plus, they're going to inherit these 2 keepers and be +15. And so what does that mean? It means the retirement pool is going to get some of these undesirable waiver guys that you've been seeing me talking about, such as Paul Blair, who's not very good anymore. He's currently qualifies into the waiver category, but we might want to slide him over into the retirement category, which is currently sitting at -15. So these 15 players here, some combination of it will go into retirement, which means the waiver list will have 64 very good players. And that's good news for this league. It means that all 32 teams, including the expansion teams and bad teams, will take a good look at these waivered guys and try picking them up. So that would be the next step in the off season, the trade carousel, when every team tries to get down to the required 4 keeper, 2 waiver, and 2 retire before the draft. All right, that's a wrap for the Eliminating the Orioles. Thanks for checking out the video. We'll see you next time.